If you ask a random group of people if they are more attractive than the average person, chances are that more than half of them will believe so. If you ask an average group of people if they are smarter than the average person, chances are that more than half of those people will also believe so. I could go on and list, even more positive traits and examples of them, but you pretty much get the idea here. Average, by definition, is basically the standard that sets the good from the bad. 50% of people are above this standard and 50% of people are below average. But if you went off of people's personal perceptions of themselves, you would not think that would be the case. Being average is something that society and people in general dread. Growing up, little kids don't see themselves working random 9-to-5 office jobs or doing manual labor. They envision themselves being astronauts, presidents, professional athletes. In America, everyone is taught to shoot for the stars because how disappointing would it be to end up in the middle of the pack? I remember growing up, my mom always told me to go to sleep early, drink a lot of milk, and eat my vitamins so I would grow up to be nice, tall, and strong. She wanted me to be over 6 feet tall because tall people command more respect, are better in sports, and other bullshit like that. I grew up to be 5'10", 5'11" maybe on a good day, just above the average American male. And, it looks like those 3 a.m. nights studying to finish my AP US history homework probably didn't help my case. By all accounts, I am not a short dude, especially for an ethnically Chinese male, but in very typical Asian parent fashion, my mom was extremely disappointed. Being only slightly above average apparently wasn't a good thing to her. She needed me to be at the top. Literally. I find myself subconsciously comparing my height to other people when I'm standing next to them all the time, and it's a bad habit, but it's something that's been reinforced in my head because my mom made me feel bad about my height my entire life. All because I'm not significantly above average. It's kind of a silly example, but this is certainly not an isolated incident. Whether it was academics, tennis, social life, my height, how even this fucking YouTube channel, my parents have always constantly told me that being average is not okay, or something that you shouldn't see as a bad thing. They didn't come to America for me to become mediocre. They came to make sure that my future was bright, aka not average. Here's the thing with this mindset and the difficulty I have accepting that mindset when it applies to almost everybody. Literally, half of people in society have to play the role of below average in literally every single aspect of life. That's just literally what the word means. Whether it's intelligence, looks, athleticism, social status, there's legit almost a majority of people who are going to be closer to the bottom of the ladder than the top. Which is why I feel it's so concerning that so many people are trained to feel this way, whether it's by their parents, their friends, or just the world as a whole. Sure, I can understand to the extent encouraging young people to shoot higher when it comes to jobs and financial stability, but this attitude carries over to so many other things, including things that unfortunately people cannot control. Most prominently, how physically attractive someone is, how tall they are, how good their upbringing was. It's heartbreaking to see just how bad people can make themselves feel over stuff like this. If you aren't above the halfway mark, well, great. That means there's about 3.9 billion other people in the entire planet who are in the same exact boat as you are. I'm here today making this video to say that it is okay to be average. So look at me in the eyes. It's okay to be average. Unless you were blessed by God with the top 0.05% of genes and special circumstances, everyone's going to have weaknesses. Everyone's going to have places where they struggle. Everyone's going to have to play the role of below average at some point in their lives. And more often than not, you're playing the role of below average in hundreds of categories at the same time at any given point of your life. And that shouldn't be seen, and that isn't a bad thing. After spending my first year in college, I can truthfully tell you that I have never felt more mediocre in my entire life. Let me repeat that again. I have never felt more mediocre in my entire life. And I'm okay with that. No matter how much people tell you that, quote unquote, everyone has their own path, everyone goes at their own pace, stop comparing yourself to other people. There's no stopping that little voice inside your head that wants to compare you to everyone else. That guy is an internship, why don't you? That girl is 3 classes ahead of you in your major, why are you so far behind? At best, I am the most average person in college. At worst, I am painfully below this quote unquote standard. I've only been there for a few months, once, but that's been enough time for me to feel fully overwhelmed by just how much of a small fish in a big pond I am. It's a struggle I deal with every single day, even when I'm not actively in college right now. Even though it is a struggle, even though it is a battle with myself, I've started to feel grateful for the opportunity that I've been given. Instead of seeing average or below average as a bad thing, I try constantly to frame it as a positive. Let me explain. In sports, people love to practice with peers who are higher skilled than them, who are just better than them at their sport. They help teach you things that you've never even thought about. They help raise your level just by being around them. You literally absorb, it feels like, some of their skill, some of their talent just by playing with them. I know personally, as a tennis player, I love playing players who are better than me because I think it's a great learning experience. Even though maybe I'll get destroyed, maybe I look stupid, maybe I look really bad in comparison when I play them or I'm around them, I feel like there's so much I can learn from them, and I feel like if I'm in an environment where I am below average, that means I have more room to actually get better as a result, even though superficially it might feel a little embarrassing, it might feel a little uncomfortable. I've learned to love being around people who are better than me at things that I want to get better at. I'm trying to apply the same thinking from the tennis court to college and life in general, and that's supremely helped me over the past year or so. If I'm average, so be it. If I'm below, even better. It just means I have more opportunities to learn, grow, and become a better person while I'm here. I'm not trying to encourage complacency. If there's an area in your life that you can't control and you feel motivated to improve on it, then by all means go for it, especially if it improves your quality of life. I certainly have many things that I am currently working on. Losing weight, I'm down 15 pounds in 1 month this summer. Managing my time better, taking 100% accountability for my actions, learning how to control my emotions better. These are things that I can actually control. These are things that can actually improve my quality of life and I feel like actually matter to me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to constantly beat myself up over not being above average, over not being better than other people. Just the reality of it. If you constantly look at your weaknesses and you don't appreciate your strengths, that is a one-way ticket to feeling bad about yourself, and that is not what we want. I feel like that's a very toxic state of being, and it's something that I've been trying to combat for my entire life, and I think that's something that people should learn to recognize more. If you're constantly beating yourself up over certain things, and these are things especially you can't control, it's time to try to figure out how to let go. And that's easier said than done. I am not a psychologist. I am a random 19-year-old Chinese American male who happens to have somewhat of a platform on an online community. I can't truly tell you how to do that, but I think recognizing that it's an issue is always the first step to fixing something. Being average has become underrated. Let's make not being great again. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Stay anxious, everyone. Like and subscribe if you're new, and peace out, man. Goodbye.